Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest episode number 140. The episode where Eric's has decided he's going to go bench press his entire house, so he's not here. So we wish him luck.
He's got contractors at his house building him a throne of scales from all the Monster Hunter games, all the monsters in the Monster Hunter games.
Exactly.
It's going to be a pretty impressive set once he's got that set up.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it's going to be awesome.
Worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Spending that YouTube money.
Cash well spent. Let's go. How you guys doing?
I was sick for like 2 weeks, and they put me on super duper painkillers. Do you guys? I joined the podcast on Thursday, like after the podcast, just to say hi. Like I was like whispering like this, like I could hardly talk for like a whole week. And the doctor said the way to fix this is to stop talking, which, you know, is hard for me. But he gave me like some wicked cool painkillers. And then I got on Amazon and I started ordering stuff. Yeah,
really? You want an Amazon?
I've been on kind of like an Amazon break. No Amazon.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. So you went on like a hiatus from Amazon for like a year, right?
Yeah.
And just completely broke
more than a year now.
Just threw that out the window.
Completely shut down. Completely.
I was like, woo, I'm time to go to Amazon.
Yeah, did they give you
out the window?
They give you morphine and you're like, well, went on morphine, time to shop on Amazon.
I was telling Tefty before the show, I ordered a model car that looks exactly like my real car. Same color and everything.
Yeah, I always need that, right?
Always need that. That's like top.
You need
was
a reference
$30.
model. If you're in the middle of FaceTiming someone, $30 to be there tomorrow. Nice. If you're in the middle of FaceTiming someone, you need to describe a particular piece of information about your car. You always need a model car of your exact car.
Get my car fixed today. Yeah. It was here.
Hopefully, it'll end up over here somewhere, so you guys can see the evidence of my will breaking
acquisitions
down. Every podcast. I also ordered Dark Souls Remastered for the Nintendo Switch because the best part about Dark Souls Remastered is that it now runs at 60 FPS. Unless you buy it on a Nintendo
Unless
Switch.
you buy it on the Switch.
Yeah, it's like the retro version.
It's the original Dark Souls experience.
Remastered OG experience.
That one was $41.94. You can currently buy it for about $0 on Steam. And it got delivered yesterday, to my surprise.
But you're always the type of person that wants the cartridge for that stuff, right? Like you don't.
But come on. Dark Souls Remastered on Nintendo Switch? Like, why would you want that?
That might be really rare later.
Maybe, because nobody but me was dumb enough to buy it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's so. Yeah, the strange conclusion is you do have a Steam Deck coming at some point in the future, right?
Yeah. Theoretically, if they ever send me that email.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same. I'm like chomping in the back. I want this. I want to look every Monday and nothing. Yeah, I'm still getting shafted. But still, you bought Dark Souls for the Switch, knowing that you're going to have a Steam Deck, which is obviously going to be where you would play Dark Souls Remastered.
Yeah.
And not on the Switch. So, yes, this was a high purchase.
Absolutely not on the Switch.
Purchase.
If I decide to keep this, I think I can return it. I think I can. I haven't actually looked at Amazon's video game return policy. If I can return it, I should. Because I'm never going to play it. I'm never going to unwrap it. So maybe I just could leave it in the cellophane, put it on the shelf, and check on what it's worth in 30 years. You know, like
you might be rich.
Is it worth any money? Oh, it's worth $41.94.
Yeah.
I also bought a Mattel Disney Star Wars Baby Yoda the Child Mandalorian 11-inch tall plush.
Wow.
11 inch.
Yeah.
Is it? Wait, is this 11?
It's almost a foot tall.
Is it this one?
It is very similar to that one. But are those ears soft? Because apparently the main complaints about the one that I ordered are that be careful hugging this. The ears will poke your eyes out. Because they're hard plastic.
I got this from the Disney website. They're soft, flexible.
So people are complaining about their aggressive hugging causing bodily harm.
Like, you don't want to give this to a kid, I think is what they're saying, because this thing is like Sharp.
The kid will go, "Whoa," and then
Yeah, impale themselves on
Yeah.
Baby Yoda's ears.
Yeah.
I got 2 Darkstalkers books. Are you guys familiar with the Darkstalker video games?
Yeah.
I am, yes.
One is the official complete works hardcover, which was $44.99, and one was Rise of the Night Warriors, which was $49.99. Rise of the Night Warriors is apparently just comic books, like a collection of comic books in one hardcover book. I don't read comic books, so I'm not real sure why I ordered this.
You do now.
Yeah, I do now.
You just opened
This
up
is the worst one.
You opened up a whole genre, like a whole. You can go to the manga store now, right?
Yeah. This is the worst one. I'm going to ask you guys to guess the price of which I paid for this.
Okay.
$69.
This is, I'm going to get the whole title here. Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection Classic Edition for the Switch. What's special about this was it was a limited run games release that comes in a Neo Geo style shock box, like the big, you know how big Neo Geo games used to be, like almost VCR cartridge size.
Yeah.
Well, this comes in a box that looks like what those boxes were. So this was a limited games release. It's no longer being sold new. So this is, I bought it.
I'm going to go with
off of Amazon.
$169.
I'm going to go
That's close.
with...
You shouldn't have
close,
said that.
huh?
You shouldn't have said that, Briar. You just ruined the game. Now Watts just has to guess. Go higher or lower.
Well, we're waiting.
What are you going to guess?
$155.
Oh, it was less. Okay.
Yeah. See, it was a bargain. I could not afford not to buy
How
it.
could you not buy that? Is the real question.
I looked that one up on eBay. I could get it for around $100.
Naturally.
Another game that I way overpaid for was Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Have you guys ever seen the Marvel versus Capcom games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like that, but it's a different, it's not Marvel, it's Tatsunoko. It's a Japanese anime company. Watts would know that, right?
Yes.
Anyhow.
So, Briar,
it's a Wii game.
Did you not even know the franchise? That it was the Versus?
It's a Wii game. It was, I paid. Should we guess again? It's a Wii game.
Oh boy. Here we go.
$84.99.
I'm going to guess $101.
$163.97.
I should have done 169 again. I should have doubled down.
Yeah. This one on eBay goes for around $80. There's some other stuff in there. I feel like I hit on the most interesting stuff, though.
That sounds terrible and amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
The drug-induced shopping spree. Also, the fact that you broke your year-and-a-half hiatus from Amazon. You're like, as soon as you ripped that Band-Aid, it just...
You just went crazy.
Yeah, you went in.
Yeah.
You went in.
I went in. I went hard.
You didn't just say, I'll just get a t-shirt. You bought lots of things.
What was weird is I didn't actually realize that I had done it until stuff started arriving yesterday.
Really? You had you had no idea?
You blacked out?
I went into my Amazon history. I was like, oh, I see. I bought about there's 3 to a row here. I bought about 20 items. Like I got the Metroid Dread amiibos. Wild Guns Reloaded.
I mean,
did
the fraud protection kick in? This is not your typical behavior. Or did they, at the very least, offer you a business account because you're spending so much?
I bought another copy of Streets of Rage 4. This one is the anniversary edition. It has all the DLC built in. I also bought another copy of Bloodborne. This is the Game of Year edition that has all the DLC built in. I also bought Street Fighter Cross Tekken Special Edition for the PlayStation 3. Obviously.
Are we sure your doctor wasn't Jeff Bezos? Yeah. And he gave you some kind of Amazon spending spree drugs?
Oh my gosh.
Holy moly.
I bought a wireless controller for $72.99. Those things you could get at Best Buy for, I think, $59.99, right?
Just like a regular wireless controller?
It's gray and green, and it says it's the 20th anniversary special edition.
Special edition.
There you go. Special edition.
Did you need another
Can't get
controller?
that at Best Buy.
Yeah. Did you need another controller?
No.
Of course not.
Yeah, I guess I could use one, honestly.
You could come up with a scenario where another one would be useful at some point in the future, but as it is right now, not high in the importance.
No.
Oh my gosh. Did you accidentally buy anything really expensive? Like, say,
I think the most expensive stuff I bought were those 2 old games. Tatsunoko versus Capcom and Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection Classic Edition.
Okay. Well, that's
the Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection could be obtained for about $40 from PlayAsia. I paid $155.
You're doing your part.
Yes. I'm restoring our economy.
Yeah.
Stoking the fuel of capitalism. Keeping the engine running. Oh, man. You know, there isn't quite a lot of stuff to talk about this week, right?
You know,
there's like rumors and things, right? And
we did become vampires.
We did. We did talk about V Rising. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I wish we had more time.
Yeah.
Especially as having to restart.
We did have to reboot.
Cut in a little bit of our time.
In the middle there. Yeah, exactly. V Rising is early access on Steam. Is it on other platforms yet? Or is it only Steam?
I think it's just Steam. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't have controller support either, which
doesn't have controller support.
Probably would have made things even more complicated with controller support. But yeah, it's a cool blend of Valheim and Diablo meets like survival, right?
Yeah, it's cool because
Sounds good.
in a lot of survival games, like the crafting is great and you know the exploration is fun, but the combat's kind of just there. You're not really playing the game because the combat's great. Whereas with V Rising, the combat seems to be a pretty important focus. You can get new abilities, and there is actually some skill to dodging stuff and countering stuff. And yeah, the boss fights are cool. Combat's cool. I played a little bit solo as well because Mylan said he played with Danny, and the boss fights were more involved because, you know, there's less people.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd try it out. And yeah, you have to pay attention when there's less people against the boss fights.
Yeah, in terms of an early access type of thing, it did feel like there's not a lot of options for the single solo player. Like the solo player experience isn't quite like ironed out yet, you know?
You think so?
Yeah, well, so like that's a balancing issue, right? Like if you're playing solo, the bosses probably need to be balanced to you, whereas if you're on a server, there could be 10 people on that boss.
There could be 10 people. Yeah, it's not just like the people that are in your clan or that your buddies that you're playing with. It could be any amount of people.
Yeah. So I could see that being one of the things that they're working out still. The game's fun though. I enjoyed it.
It is fun.
Who made it or who's making it? I guess if it's
good question.
Access.
That is a good question. I can look it up real quick.
That's a Google in a hot second.
Stunlock Studios.
Stunlock Studios, yes. Oh yeah, these are the people behind Battleright. So Battleright didn't do super well, but everyone loved the combat. So I think a lot of that kind of carries over into V Rising and in the combat being pretty great. And what I love about it is when you go, there's a bunch of bosses. It's like a ton of bosses, and every time you fight a boss, you get a new ability, and it can be. It can change the way your dash works. We didn't even manage to get to our ultimate ability. We didn't even get there. So I really like that. I've always loved killing bosses and getting their abilities.
Yeah, that's a really cool feature. And that's one of the things that reminds me of Diablo as well. Like you unlock certain abilities in Diablo as you upgrade, while killing those bosses in V Rising gave a similar thing. Like you got like an ice blast or like an ice cast. And then like it's interesting. There's a lot of interesting stuff to collect.
Yeah, we started with a normal dash, and I ended up getting an ability where it's like a toxic poison dash. So you dash, and then the next ability you use, it sends out this thing that kind of a projectile that bounces around enemies and kind of poisons them. So that's cool. Yeah, you can change a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have direct character control in this, or it's not like the old Diablo where you point and click?
You have direct control.
You're actually controlling your character, like Diablo 3 for console, kind of.
Yeah, you have direct control.
Yep. Yeah, so like controller
support. I'm trying this out. This looks great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And again,
have they
early access.
given a roadmap for like?
It's a good question. I didn't look at it.
No idea if they have a roadmap.
I was a vampire. I was like, this is fun, and then that was about it.
Oh, so you play as a vampire?
Yeah.
Yes, you are a vampire. Okay. So also in a lot of survival games, it's dangerous to go out at night because all the ghoulies come out. So you want to do stuff in the day, and when the sun sets, you're like, oh my god. Whereas in V Rising, it's flipped. So when you're in the daytime, if you stand in the sun for too long, you take a lot of damage. You burn, but so you have to run between shade when you're traveling.
Yeah, the sun will.
And then at night, Blade.
I know how that works.
Yeah, it's cool. I enjoyed it. There's also a PvP side. Cool. I didn't play in the PvP side, so I can't comment on that. That stuff obviously is really difficult to balance, but I wonder.
It could be fun because the combat is there, so it could actually be a pretty fun PvP experience of you running around and you come into contact with other vampires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think you would enjoy it, Briar.
It looks like something I would enjoy. This looks right up my alley, to be honest with you. I might wait for it to come out of early access.
It could be a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I've waited that long before.
Mm-hmm. But what's
I'm definitely gonna. What I'll probably do is just buy it, try it out for a little bit, and then.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to playing this though. This looks exactly the kind of thing I like.
Yeah, it's a shame you couldn't have joined us. It would have been. Good times.
I didn't even know you guys played.
Well, you were mega sick.
He was.
Yeah, I was hella sick.
He was high off of Amazon purchases.
Get my Tatsunoko on.
So I'd recommend it if someone is interested in that type of experience. It, like you said, it is early access. You might want to wait for that to get out of it. But what we played felt there wasn't a lot of rough edges. There's rough edges, but not to the point where you feel like it's unplayable. It's like an indie title with that Diablo survival type of feel with a vampire thing. So it feels pretty far along.
It feels great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like this is early access and it feels like, but it feels good.
Yeah.
Is it PC only for now? Or have they said that they're going to do any?
It's not even controller support. So I don't think we're going to be getting
controller
a console
support yet?
release for a while.
No controller support yet. I'm sure it's coming because again, you control WASD to control your character. So
yeah. I wonder if you can map it with like the Steam mapping software.
Oh, probably.
Because this would be perfect on Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, let's go.
The thing about V Rising that, so maybe they will talk about console release. Maybe they will end up doing something because so far there's 500,000 people who have played V Rising. So it's kind of a bit of a hit.
Yeah.
That's good news.
I
like that. It makes me happy.
Good stuff.
So we didn't do a show last week.
Briar's dying. Currently.
Yeah.
Say Amazon coming back up.
I just got my bill from Amazon. But one of the biggest news stories that happened the week before that we missed was that there was it wasn't like a widespread Xbox Live shutdown, but it was big enough that people noticed. And the people who could not log on to Xbox Live with their Xbox Series consoles were not allowed to play a lot of their games at all, even in offline single player mode, which I thought was pretty concerning. And, this is kind of, if you remember like the E3 press conference where I can't remember his name. When they first announced the Xbox One and they talked about this always online console, the big pushback was, are we going to be able to play these games if we're not online? Because a lot of people are still not online, unfortunately, which is crazy.
Or not stably online, especially.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like this outage really showcased this real huge kind of thorn in the side of Microsoft at this point that like they're still doing this. Like they have come around. They've got a lot more popularity as a company, but the actions that started back then are still in progress. They're still working on this like kind of always online system.
Yeah, we also had the issue with the driving game on PlayStation, right? Where that has to be online all the time, and that went down for what, 2-3 days? How long was that?
Yeah,
It was a while.
that was Gran Turismo. That
Yeah.
was a different situation because it was Gran
It is.
Turismo's servers.
Yes.
It wasn't PlayStation. And that was disappointing too. And I don't like that. It would be nice if I wanted to play arcade mode or just like, race the computer mode. I think I should be able to play it without being connected to a server. And Gran Turismo has actually addressed this and said they are going to fix it. So in the future, you will be able to play that game offline. However, you will need a patch if you bought the launch edition on disc to do that. And if the servers go down for PS5, which eventually they will, you could end up still in the future with a copy of PS5 for the PS5 that you can't play. What's more concerning for the Xbox is that many of the games that you buy on disc, like just speaking from game preservation alone, so many of the games that we buy could just become unavailable when the Xbox Live Series goes down forever, or they stop supporting the Series S and X. Not to mention, half of the games that you buy on Series X don't include the Series X version of the game. They only include the Series or the Xbox One version of the game because there's not enough space on the disc for both versions. So they put the one version on there so any of the consoles can play it.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, well, I think for me the bigger issue is not being able to play something that you own offline, if that were the case. And I'm trying to read further into it, so I don't know specifically, because like I know on PlayStation, if you have your console set up as the main console, then anything you buy, you can disconnect from the internet and like you could play that. And I thought that's the same as the Xbox as well, but I guess not. I guess
it looks not, according to the reports that came from this outage. It's like it wasn't every game, but a lot of the games that people were trying to play, it would just say cannot connect to Xbox Live service. It cannot authenticate this copy of the game. Yeah, like it needs an authentication from Xbox Live to allow you to play this single player version of the game.
Yeah,
Not good.
Yeah.
No.
Again, like it sounds like, because I could have swore that you could play if it's your main console. If you have it set up as your main console, then you could unplug it and still log in and play and that type of stuff if it's offline, not connected to or not server required. The technical side of me thinks maybe there was a communication protocol that was happening that was only half working, meaning it was online, so it was trying to connect to this one service. This one service gave it the go ahead, and then it tried to go to the authentication server, and the authentication server was like, I can't has cheeseburger, blah blah blah, like it's borked. So
yeah,
I don't know, but this is also a symptom of where we're going with digital media. You know what I mean? Like if you have the physical copy, that's one way to play it. But like I said, day one patches, updates, and all that stuff. I mean, this is something that encompasses a lot of different media right now, and not just Xbox. Like what happens with the PS5 20 years down the road,
Yeah.
Bummer.
I don't know. I find it to be extremely concerning. I don't like that. I could buy a game for $60 and not be able to play it at some point because they turned off access to the servers.
Yeah, well, it's different though because
like
you're buying a license. Technically,
I understand their fucking corporate argument, and I say fuck you anyway. I bought a copy of this game that I expect to play forever. I understand that when I bought the CD, I bought a license to play the CD not in public, for whatever reason. But like they didn't like turn off my CD player fucking 30 years later, so I can no longer play that CD.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot more complicated with software. You got engines, operating systems, all that stuff. Like I get it, but
as long as I have a working PS3 and a game on disc, I can play it.
Yeah, but now we're getting to the point where these game installs are like 150 gigs.
I don't understand why that matters. If I have a copy of the game,
because you wouldn't be able to put the whole game on one of those discs, right? Like you can't.
Yeah, you definitely can.
150 gigs? Will 150 gigs fit on a disc?
Yeah.
Yeah. The drive, the CD.
I don't know how big the drive is, but I'm pretty sure yes. Yeah. It's not a CD anymore. It's like a Blu-ray
like the
disc.
DVD. Yeah.
I thought it was like 9 gigs that you could put on that thing.
9 gigs? 90 gigs?
That's what I thought. Gigs? Yeah. 9.
I have no idea.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you can't fit the entire game on there.
So, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, modern games currently, like if you get the next Call of Duty, you wouldn't be able to ship the entire game on that disc anyways. You'd have to download some extra support regardless. Disc size.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too. 100 gigabytes.
Okay, they support up to 100 gig. So yeah, any game that is, not all games are past that, obviously. A lot of games are shipping lower sizes, but yeah.
I mean, I can only think of a few that are probably bigger than that. There's like the Call of Duty games.
But they're only going to get bigger.
Destiny up to that size? Yeah, especially the 4K era. Yeah.
Yeah, with all these assets that are looking super crispy, I mean, it ends up ballooning the install sizes dramatically.
That's why the price of my sealed copy of Dark Souls Remastered for the Switch is just going to go up and up and up to the moon. You know
I think it might. I think it might be. I think it might. It's going to be rare. No one has it, but Briar has it. I do believe that. Yeah, I've always felt that if it's a single player game, there's no online component. I can't group up with people. Like, there's no need for any of that. That I should be able to play it offline.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hopefully they fix that and get more consumer friendly. Both platforms.
Yeah. Have you guys seen the TV show Drive to Survive on Netflix?
No.
Drive to Survive has been going around for 4 seasons now, 4 years. And it's basically like, imagine like a recap of the F1 year, right? Like a year in total. And they do like an episode on each team or an episode on each event or whatever. The first year, I think, was like 4 years ago, right? And I got hooked on that TV show. And then I started watching F1 races in real, which I'd never really watched before. So while I've been sick, I ordered... I ordered the F1 app, which you can download on like Apple TV or iPhone or probably whatever. You know, it's probably available like anywhere you could download an app. And I started watching all of the F1 races for the current year. And then I started going back in time because last year was a really good racing year. Like there's really good drama between like the young guns and like Max Verstappen, who's a little bit of a he's new, but he likes to bully people, and Lewis Hamilton, who's been the 7-time world champion, and they're both fighting it out. And then this year they got all brand new cars, they're completely redesigned, they're slower, but they can pass more. Man, if anybody hasn't seen Drive to Survive, check that show out. It's a fascinating show. Okay. And you might actually become an F1 fan based off of it. It is really fun. I've watched more F1 in the last week than I can. It's really fun. I have been high on painkillers.
No, yeah, I was going to say, this is the Briar who bought like $8 billion of stuff on Amazon and had no recollection of it. So, I don't know.
My only connection to it is because I follow Deej and I see him tweeting about it every now and then.
Yeah.
About his F1
F1
passion.
is fucking crazy. It's like, imagine the richest people in the world all got together and did the dumbest shit they could think of. And made a huge spectacle of it, right? It's like, we're going to race these cars that don't make sense in any other context, but just to race these cars, right? It's like, we're just going to, you can't do anything else with any of the technology that comes out of F1, right? That doesn't correlate to your Honda Civic that's driving down the street, you know? It's just like completely insane. And then to be an F1 driver, there's no rags to riches story to become an F1 driver. You have to be a millionaire to just get started driving the go-karts, to train yourself to drive you have to start off as a millionaire to even some of the drivers the reason they are drivers is because Daddy literally bought the team so that they could become drivers. It is fascinating. It's like it's a world unto itself. It's completely crazy. And the stories, all sports have great stories. That's why people love sports, right? It's the stories that are contained within them.
Uh-huh.
It is fascinating.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, speaking of TV, you finished all of Halo, right?
Oh, I didn't even realize I watched the last episode until Sparky said that was the last episode.
Wow, so you didn't know that was the season finale?
It didn't feel like the season finale. It felt like, that show is fucking weird, man.
I've heard about things.
What things? Let's just understand that this show is so bad that nobody gives a shit about spoilers.
I heard about Master Chief's cheeks.
Chief shows all 4 of his cheeks within like the first 2 episodes.
Jesus.
There is no detail about Master Chief that you are wondering about, right?
He's just all out there.
He is all out there.
Okay, so I don't want any spoilers. Not that I would really care at this point, because I'm already pretty disconnected from this TV show, but I haven't seen any of it yet. What's your season review now that you're aware that the season that's actually completed?
I honestly think this is coming as like a former Halo fan, right? Like I want good things. I read all the books up until Bungie leaving the Halo series behind, right? That's when I like kind of lost touch with the Halo franchise, when Bungie left.
Okay.
I read all the books. I watched like that little animated anthology thing that they did many years ago. I was big into Halo. This has almost nothing to do with Halo. They have the Covenant, they have the Master Chief, but like the story, they have the characters.
They got Cortana.
The story is not the same. Yeah, you have Cortana, but Cortana in this show, right, she was originally going to be like a clone, like an AI in like a clone body. And then the doctor, I always forget the doctor's name, but it's the same doctor, Halsey, yes, decides that she's going to implant him into John Halo's head, and she's just going to expunge John, and it's just going to be Cortana controlling that body. Like, there is no John anymore. There is no Master Chief. It's just going to be Cortana in there. Like, that kind of stuff. It's like, why? Why did you do that? Why are we changing this?
Wait, that happened in the show?
That is her goal. Okay. I don't want
to. It's funny because we have the Witcher series, right? Where the main character is played by an actor who knows the Witcher lore inside and out, and they follow it very much to a T. And then you have Halo, who was like, we're going to do something crazy. We're gonna go and do something totally different that isn't related to anything. And I hear all the time people say that you can enjoy it if you just think of it as like a sci-fi show and have nothing to do.
I don't know,
Halo.
Watts, because like the CG is like not that good.
I haven't seen
like
it.
When I see like a sci-fi show, the standard is so high set by like all these other series that have come by, and to watch this, I'm like, they could have doubled the budget of the CGI on this, and I think they would have come to something that like we would have thought was okay. But as it is, it looks like, you ever see like a video game that came out like 15 years ago, but it's been up-resed? So like all the modeling and all the like the graphics are from like 2010, but it's been upgraded to 4K. But so it still looks kind of old, but it's high resolution. That's what a lot of it looks like. And the motion capture isn't very good. So like the animation doesn't look really good when there's other what do you call the other like Spartans? There's other Spartans, and actually one of them is a great character. It's a female character who, much like Master Chief, somehow takes out the implant that is controlling her thoughts. Well, we get to see her butt too because of that.
Okay.
But she's actually a really cool character that I don't know if they're going to do more with her. But I almost would have preferred that they did like a side story. Like, we're in the Halo universe. There's other Spartans. Let's just focus on this lady. Maybe you see Master Chief fly in, fly out for like an episode or two, but like let's focus on like why retell a story that is so beloved by fans in a shittier way. Yeah. Why don't we tell a different story in this universe? We still have the Covenant. We still have, Spartans. We still have Warthogs. Why just completely retell this story?
Because they didn't read or play the games.
And like Master Chief isn't a real character. He is just a cipher for you as a player, right? He hardly talks in those games. Like really, it's Cortana doing most of the talking.
No, I mean, it's as a fan, I feel like Master Chief has a character. He's
a character like, yeah, I'm badass. Yeah, I'm gonna kick some ass. It's like
you're okay. You're not wrong, but he is more nuanced than that, and that's why I think like them just ripping the helmet off right away and going into it. It's like we've had years of them not doing a face reveal and having deeper emotions because he was this trained super soldier to be emotionless. And his struggle in the Halo universe as you play the games is him realizing his part of humanity with the programming that he's had to become a super soldier. So like that's an interesting story, that conflict. Sounds like they're like, meh, let's just Master Cheeks,
So like I would say the director probably agrees with you, or the writer probably agrees with you that is the most interesting part about Halo, is that Master Chief kind of realizing like his own humanity. So let's just focus on that, but like really like do it like let's ask our kid how they would do it, Like let's ask a 4-year-old how they would do it. Stumbling on itself all the time and just doing like weird stuff and like I mean they basically retcon the fall of Reach or how that is going to happen.
Oh no.
And it is not satisfying.
I've heard. I have heard indeed.
That would piss me off. As a fan of Reach, that would piss me off.
If you've never played a Halo game, I would wonder what you would think about this. You might just be like, okay, here's a kind of a B or C level sci-fi, show on a streaming service.
Alternate universe Star Trek show?
Yeah, it could be something like that, but because it is Halo, it's like I'm going in it with the expectation of a fan of Halo. I've been a fan of Halo since 2000 when the first game came out. What most anticipated game of my entire life was Halo 2. Like I'm so excited. I couldn't wait because Halo 1 was so good. So I don't know. You get into some complicated territory when you try and retell beloved stories.
I would love to know what people who are just watching it as a sci-fi show feel about it. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any of those people. Like, is anybody who didn't play Halo interested in the show at all?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not.
I'm sure there's people. They want more cheek scenes, Give the quad cheeks.
They heard it was the new Game of Thrones, so they loaded up for all the booty.
Game of Thrones, but in space. The more I hear about it, the more I'm just not.
Philippe in chat said Kai 125. That's the other Spartan that I was talking about.
Okay.
Her story is actually pretty good. She's pretty compelling, and acted well. I feel like too. So I wouldn't mind if they just kind of like really focused on her.
Furcado says it's not close to Expanse. That would be my question is how, because like
no.
Expanse tells this like space opera and it's so well done because like the characters give it gravity, and I mean it's not perfect by any means. There's some strange choices that they do, but overall the arc of Expanse gives you a really satisfying. This is like a slice of the future, of a version of humanity that is troubled. It doesn't sound like Halo's doing that.
It's more on the level of like Supernatural without the charm.
Supernatural without the charm. No one wants to watch that.
That's a hard watch.
Jesus.
I mean, like a lot of the time I'm watching, I'm just like snortling. Like how? Why would you make this decision? Why would you make this decision?
Because they never played. They didn't do any research. I mean, when they said that they didn't play the games, or they wanted to tell an original, as in do what they want, but with the name attached to it, that was an immediate red flag. And it sounds like it's playing out that way.
Yeah.
They're just running with the IP, doing whatever they want with it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well,
I always wonder, because it must be so weird for Bungie, right? Because they don't have any control over Halo anymore, but they created Halo. And I always wonder, like, how do they feel about Master Chief being in Fortnite or the Halo TV series? I always wonder.
Yeah.
How much of Bungie was even there when they were working on Halo, though? Like, how much of that team is still there?
Oh,
A good amount of people are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the 3-4-3 split. Obviously, there was a lot of people that moved over that were working on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's been what, 15 years since then?
Been a long time.
Didn't Tomo work on Reach?
He started on Halo 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
still
a
there.
lot. It's also Bungie's exploded in size. At least I
Oh, yeah,
imagine,
it's
right? Like it's a
crazy.
massive company now in comparison to where
Absolutely crazy.
it was. Yeah. Switching subjects. Rumor time. Did you hear about the RTX 4090 rumor? That it exists?
Ooh, no.
No,
Is it
I
twice
didn't.
as big? Is it like, does it take 800 watts from a PSU?
We're
You know
gonna
what?
need new PC cases to be made just for this.
Sweet.
Quantum GPU extrapolation. I don't really know much about what. There's speculation about it dropping this summer, a 4090, or they're saying 4090. I don't know if that implies the rest of the series as well, but it makes me excited. You know, it's always exciting to hear NVIDIA get it, making new dies and advancements on the GPU side of things, right?
Yeah,
They are the first ones to take the next step into the next generation, right? It's like they are the ones moving the line forward when they release new product.
Yeah.
I am a little worried like what the cost this round is going to be because
Same.
GPU pricing went fucking crazy over the last 2 years. But Tefty is right. It's like logically, if you look at the history of when NVIDIA releases the new GPUs, it's every 2 years. And like in September, it'll be 2 years since the release of the 3080 and the 3090. So, like that does add up. Stock is finally starting to come back because the cryptocurrency market has basically collapsed.
Took in a big
Again.
old dump. They pulled a Master Chief.
Yeah. Drop their drawers on TV.
Amazing.
So like hopefully prices come back down on GPUs because the pricing on GPUs has just been insane. It's like I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
I don't think I told the story on this show, but I told the story on DCP how I basically had to buy a computer to get a GPU.
Right. Your RTX 3090, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really excited for the next generation. I can't wait to see what like ray tracing speeds are going to be like. I can't wait to see what I'm kind of hoping for like the next generation of like kind of the side features that we've gotten from the RTX cards, like all the enhanced video codecs and being able to convert those video codecs on the fly and do all that kind of stuff. Also playback of I think it's called AV1 video, which is a much higher quality version of like 4K video and streamable. So it's like a lower bit rate, but higher quality version.
Related to H.265 or better?
I don't think so. And I might not have that, the nomenclature right. So maybe I'll try and remember to do research for the next show, but I think it's a higher quality than H.265.
Okay.
But a lower bit rate. So it would be very helpful for YouTube, who's got horrible 4K video.
Right.
For Twitch, it would be really useful. But the problem is right now to decode that on your computer and watch it without dedicated hardware to do it, it crushes computers. So you can't really use it yet.
Well, that's where Apple is really winning right now in terms of what they're doing with their hardware and the GPU and like they're having all connected on these M1 chips and potentially M2 chips that they might be announcing soon. I think that's like the real magic that's happened right there. Like you can handle a bunch of 4K or even 8K streams on hardware that isn't crazy expensive. I mean, it still costs money. You're looking like $1,000 to $2,000, but what you can do on those pieces of hardware is pretty amazing because they've put the acceleration in the GPUs to be able to handle multiple streams of 4K or 8K or whatever. So it would be nice to see NVIDIA say, yeah, let's get some of that as well, to have some extreme acceleration of all these these video streams that can happen. That's where the future is going, obviously. Right?
Yeah. Also, AMD is much closer to NVIDIA as far as graphics card technology than they have been in years past. And Intel, they're releasing graphics cards shortly, hopefully, supposedly. That with 3 companies in that market could be really interesting as far as pricing and features go.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about the Intel stuff. Like, I haven't seen anything yet that says that they're doing some crazy stuff with it. It sounds like it's hitting the same numbers or roughly, maybe a little bit less. But also, I don't know if we've heard pricing info about what Intel's going to do. And historically, Intel's like, we charge the premium for their products. So like, are they going to do a bottom dollar?
I doubt
GPU?
anybody's going to want them first generation anyway, right? But like 3 generations in, technology wise, have they caught up to NVIDIA or surpassed? Is the pricing on all 3, all 3 of them competing now? Is the pricing going to be affected? Hopefully pricing goes down. Because I'll be honest with you, spending $2,000 on a GPU, I think is kind of ridiculous. Like that's
it is, yeah.
That's insane. 4 PS5s, like come on.
Right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the market is ridiculous. Financial, global times, all that stuff is included in that. Why things are kind of crazy right now, pricing wise. But there's also just the insaneness that's happened with GPUs in its own sandbox of like price gouging and pushing up prices and all that stuff. So
chip shortages, crypto, everything has just been a complete mess. Plus, just increased demand. We talk about the chip shortage being the cause of the PS5
Briar's dying,
being out of stock, but there's just increased demand.
Yeah, the demand is crazy. I don't know.
They sold more PS5s than they did PS4s at this point.
Right. I mean, gaming's more popular at this point, clearly. So the market's going to be bigger.
We're all stuck at home.
Yeah, but also like streaming has exploded from where the PlayStation was back in 2000, or the PS4, that life cycle to where it is now. Like streaming is in a completely different league and it's become super mainstream, and lots more people are into gaming at this point and or at least have been exposed to it to be curious enough to want to jump in and see. Like Destiny. Destiny's a big old gateway for people to be like, I wasn't really a gamer before, but then my friends got me into Destiny and I just like doing strikes and raids with them. Like it's a great example of people adopting it.
Yeah.
So the 4090, if it's $2,000, it's $2,000, I will not be buying it. 1,000
watts, $2,000. That's got to be.
I'll be getting that anytime soon.
No, 1,000 watt. I'd have to rewire my house to have a 1,000 watt PSU in my office. It would. I got 25 amp service to my office. I blow the fuse if I run an air conditioner.
Don't run the air conditioner when you're gaming.
PC. That is not an option. Not an option. I already have it wired, so my air conditioner cord is actually wired all the way down to the basement.
Just run another panel or an amp or whatever the thing is. Get an electrician out there.
I have to. My neighbor across the street was an electrician, but he was like 99,000 years old. And like I didn't want to have an electrician in my driveway, like the van in my driveway, when he's like right next door, right? Like, why didn't you call me? I'm your electrician, and I'm 99,000 years old.
But he's
and I'm gonna fall off the ladder and break my hip.
He's gonna be.
So I always felt bad having an electrician come over here, but he died. So now I'm cool. I can get.
Oh, you're good, free and clear.
Yeah, I'm clear.
Guilt expunged. Get that panel wired.
I'm clean, free to go.
Just for your graphics
75 watt
card.
amp service right up to the office.
Yeah, just for your future 4090 card.
Yeah, just for you to rewire the entire house.
I mean, if you given the option to pre-order a 4090, are you going to do it, Briar?
I'm honestly more interested in getting a regular sized graphics card than like, because I have the 3090 and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's amazing how like fucking huge, like just how extra it is, right? It's just like, it's just too big. And I love that about it. Like I really do. I loved it right from the get-go. But I really want to put a fast graphics card in my living room PC, and that's in a small form factor case. So I'm probably more looking at like if the 30 or the 4080 is like a regular size graphics card, that probably go more that direction.
Practical.
I play more games in my living room than I do in my office now.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I've been doing the majority of my gaming on like either a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. Like V Rising was
console gaming.
Yeah. Actually, I've been using the 3070 as an editing card. I've been doing like basically multiple streams of 4K in DaVinci Resolve using the 3070. And honestly, there's times where I wish I had a 3090 because I have more
3090 with all it's got 24 megs of RAM or gigs of RAM on it, and it's nice for editing.
Yeah.
I will be honest though, since I still only have a 60 hertz TV in my living room, like my 2080 Ti is kind of still great down there. Like
2080 Ti
it can do 4K 60 FPS. It can't do that with ray tracing, but I don't know how many games am I really that concerned about ray tracing for? It's not that many.
Yeah. Until the killer ray tracing game comes out, where it's like you gotta play this with ray tracing.
You gotta play this with ray tracing.
The next evolution. Oh my God.
You're not a man. You don't have a penis if you don't play this without ray tracing.
Yeah.
Give back your gamer card, peon.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. The evolution of these cards, right?
Yeah.
More people finally getting PS5s also.
I just want to play on the console. How it's so nice to just load up a game on the console and just go, I might need to change my sensitivity, but that's about it. You load it up on the PC and you're like, oh, I need to change this, and this, turn off this, and then you're like, oh, it's not running too good. What's going on? But figure it out.
That literally happened for V Rising. I had to downscale it to 1080p in order for the OBS capture to work properly. It was skipping all over the place when it was 4K, and I was like, God damn it.
All the now the consoles though are starting to get like variable refresh rate support and like, do I want to run this game at 40 FPS, 60 FPS, 30 FPS? I don't know. Do I want ray tracing on? Do I want like it's starting to feel more like running it on PC?
Yeah, but with less hassle because it just typically works.
Less hassle.
Yeah, the hassle. I mean, that's what you're paying for is the hassle factor. Actually, I guess you're not really paying for it because it's cheaper than a PC.
No, you're definitely paying extra to get that hassle.
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands.
Buy an RTX 4090 and then have driver problems for the next 12 months.
Yeah.
Because you're an early adopter.
Frankly, the more you spend, the more likely you are to get more of that hassle. Because you're right on the bleeding edge.
Card's not working? Maybe you should overclock and switch the doodads in the BIOS to make it work better. Yeah.
Maybe we should underclock. I've heard that could work, and it lowers the temperature of the card, less errors.
Switch the protocol. Maybe the hard drive is the issue, the interface. Switch that around, everything. PC gaming.
Have you tried new fans? Maybe you just need a little more liquid cooling, maybe?
God, now I feel like I should build a new PC now after all this. It feels fun.
I mean, that is fun to do, though. I like building a new PC. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. Anything else to talk about this week?
I think it's definitely worth noting and talking about Raven software.
Yep.
QA testers are becoming the first union at a major U.S. game developer.
That's amazing.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It is huge.
Who owns Raven Software right now?
Activision.
So that could be an inroad for a union to get into Microsoft.
I don't know. I'm not familiar on the
maybe
unionization protocols and stuff that trickle down from this.
Yeah, I'm not a very good union pro.
This is the first, right? Historically,
it's the first.
Historically, game development situations are usually terrible.
Yeah,
to put it lightly. So there needs to be some voices out there that help,
especially at the QA level, right? Like especially at that level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it passed 19-3 in favor of forming a union, and it is worth noting that those
three guys were narcs.
It only covers 30 of Raven's over 200 employees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's baby steps.
It's just the QA guys, right? Just the game tester guys, right?
Yeah, seems like it.
Yeah. Which, they usually just get treated terribly in most companies. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's good news. Hopefully
awesome news.
That spreads. I've heard a lot of union news, like with factory of Amazon factory got unionized. Not a factory, a distribution center. A couple of Starbucks, I believe, have gone union. Unions aren't the end all be all of like worker happiness and safety, but they're better than negotiating by yourself for yourself.
Typically, if left to the corporation's desires, they're going to pinch and squeeze as much as possible out of you until
it is their prime directive.
Yeah,
is to make as much money as possible at everybody around them's expense.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, so that's what they're there for.
Need some balance in the universe. Yeah, it's obviously not a solution to fix everything, but it's one step towards getting balance out there for workers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
What was that? Someone just attacked you. Was it a beast?
That was a big enough fly that I thought I thought for a second it was flying near me because I saw how big it was. I was like, did I just?
I might be rotting. I don't know.
Oh no. Happens to the best of us. Yeah. I've been rotten for like a week now. Sucks.
Did you guys see that Norman Reedus leaked that Death Stranding 2 is happening?
Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus Part 2?
Yeah. So he just kind of blurted it out.
Nice.
Just kind of blurted it out. He said, "We just started the second one." In an interview. And then Kojima put out a tweet and said, "Go to your private room, my friend." So
that's
Death
funny.
Stranding 2 is happening.
That's great how he was just so casual about it. Like, oh yeah, I just started this project, Death Stranding 2.
He's like, yeah, and we started the second one, it's pretty cool. And yeah, so the picture is what's really amazing that goes along with the tweet, because it says, "Go to your private room, my friend." And then they're in like a Walking Dead museum or something. So Kojima's holding the bat with like all the wire around it, and Norman's like, "No, don't hit me," on the floor. It's really funny.
Wow.
So they handled it really well.
Remind me, Briar, were you a fan of that game?
No, not really.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I don't know if that game came out at a time where I just couldn't do like that game. Like sometimes that happens, right? It's like
it does happen.
You watch a hilarious movie, but you're just not in the mood for a comedy. So you end up like not liking it. Like 10 years later, you watch it, you're like, "What was I thinking? That was a hilarious movie." I don't know. There's multiple there's like a director's cut on PC that runs at 60 FPS. Maybe I'll check that out.
Sure. I loved it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's a different game. It's
great.
definitely not for everyone, but man, I really enjoyed the experience it gave you.
Delivering packages made me so happy.
And then every now and then having a song kick in because you're on this like road trip journey.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, I like
the way
this.
that they did the experience of that game, like you said, where you come over, you're going through this really awful place, and there's BTs everywhere, and it's scary, and it's raining and muddy, and then you go over a cliff, and there's like sun, and a new song starts playing.
Yeah.
The way that they frame that is really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I enjoyed it.
Loved it.
All right. Anything else for this week?
I've just been playing Destiny, to be honest.
I gotta play some Salt and Sanctuary because we're having the developer on next week.
Yes, so it's worth noting for all of you listeners that if you're a fan of Souls games, or you're a fan of just the interviews with developers that are very important, he's an important guy.
I'm not a fan of any of that stuff, so should I watch?
You're gonna have to be.
What if I hate everything?
No, you love it all. We're having James Silva on the show next week, and he made Salt and Sanctuary, Salt and Sacrifice. New game just came out as a continuation of that series, and he's kind of really well known and respected as an indie developer for making just one of the best Souls-like experiences.
Very cool.
So it's going to be really interesting to hear, how he made his first game, the iterations, what changes he made, and what was he doing for 7 years? Was he working on the game for 7 years?
Yeah.
Was he
Find out.
researching for a while? I'd love to know. So it should be a
I'd like to
really,
see
really
his
interesting.
Amazon history.
All right. Show your Amazon history. Share your screen. Let's see it.
If there's a wallet that says "bad motherfucker" on it, you'd stop there. I don't want to see that anymore.
Yeah, it should be a great episode. So that's next week.
It should be really fun. Next week, yeah.
Yep.
Next week. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask James about just being an indie developer or about Salt and Sanctuary /Sacrifice specifically, you can just tweet at DCP.
Yeah, at DCP_live on Twitter, and we will hopefully not ignore your question. Or not ignore. Yeah.
Could even put out. We'll put out a tweet and ask if anyone has any questions too. That might be easy.
Yeah, and we'll ignore that.
Pros, guys. We are pro podcast. I mean, it's 100 episode 140 or 150 or something like that.
Been around for a while. We're old podcasters.
Yeah, damn, seasoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that's it. That's the episode, guys. Episode 140.
That's it.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs for supporting the shows. Obviously, big Destiny release tomorrow, so it's going to be a great DCP Live on Thursday. And,
yeah,
looking forward to it. So, thanks for hanging out.
Very looking forward.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.